This is the teacher summary for Unit 4, Lesson E, Special Right Triangles. You should have discovered certain patterns inside 45, 45, 90 and 30, 60, 90 right triangles. These are the patterns you should have noticed. In a 45, 45, 90 triangle, the legs are equal. And that's common sense because if it's a 45, 45, 90, that means it's an isosceles right triangle. The legs are equal. The hypo is whatever the leg is times the square root of 2. So your hypo is whatever the leg is times square root of 2. Now, it's very important you understand that root 2 is not just artificially tacked on. It's like a function box. So coming here on your example here, we're given the hypo. We want to find x. So this is what you're thinking. Something times root 2 gives you 10. Looks like this. Something times root 2 gave us the hypo of 10. And if you're comfortable with your radicals, you know what goes in that box is first off, you need another root 2, because root 2 times root 2 is 2. But to get 10, you need to add a 5 there. So the complete answer, because 5 times 2 is 10. So the complete answer here is 5 square root of 2. And since they are equal, this is also 5 root 2. If you prefer the algebraic method, let's just solve it this way. X times root 2 is 10. We're going to solve for x here using algebra. We divide by root 2. Now we have a root 2 in the radical. We have to get rid of that, so we're going to times top and bottom by root 2. We end up with 10 root 2 over 2, because root 2 times root 2 is 2. And when you reduce that, that becomes 5. So your final answer again is 5 root 2. In a 30, 60, 90 triangle, there's a little bit more to keep track of. Everything starts and goes back to the short leg. So let's label your short leg. Your short leg is always across the 30 degrees. So this is our short leg. So we start with the short leg. I'm going to use SL. To get to the hypo, you simply times by 2. You double it. So the hypo is 2 times the short leg. So to get to the long leg, you're going to be timesing by square root of 3. So the long leg is whatever the short leg is times root 3. So once again, to get to the hypo, we times by 2. To get to the short leg, you times by root 3. I'm going to pause a moment for you to write that down. So taking a look at our example here, for x and y, we're missing the short leg, but we have 12 as the long leg. So I'm going to set it up like this. The short leg times root 3 gave us the long leg, which in this case is 12. And then for the hypo, it is the short leg times 2 gives us our hypo. Problem is we don't have the short leg yet, so we have to solve for that. So going back to our mystery short leg box over here. So first off, you should know the pattern that we at least need a root 3 in here, because root 3 times root 3 is 3, but we're not done. We ask ourselves, what times 3 is 12? Of course, the answer is 4. So the complete answer for the short leg here is 4 root 3. To get the hypo, we bring our short leg here, 4 root 3, times 2. Only the outies talk to each other, so for our hypotenuse here, the answer is going to be 8 square root of 3. Let's do one more. So here we're going to work with one side at a time to try to find our unknown x. I'm going to pull these triangles apart. This is a 45, 45, 90. We have 5 square root of 2. And then here, there's your right angle, there's your 30, 60, 90, and then our ultimate x is here. Let's first start by labeling. Here, these are both legs. So we're going to work with this right triangle first, the pink one. After we do the pink one, then we'll come and we'll work on the orange one, which gives us, why do I start with the pink? Because that's the only one where you have a number. So we know in a 45, 45, 90 triangle, put your little table here, the legs are both equal, so I'm only going to put down the 1, that the legs are equal, and the hypo is whatever the leg is times root 2. That's your 45, 45, 90 table. So to get, this is a leg, to get from here to here, we're going to simply times by root 2. So we do 5 root 2 times root 2. Root 2 times root 2 is 2. So 5 times 2 is 10. The legs are equal, so this down here is also 5 root 2. And this is 10. Now we can bring that 10 over here to our orange triangle. In our orange triangle, this is the table. Short leg, long leg, hypo. Whatever the short leg is, the hypo is double. And the long leg is the short leg times square root of 3. Write that table down. That's for 30, 60, 90. We take a look at what we have, and we have here the hypo. So to go backwards, we know whatever this was, we had to times it by 2 to get 10. So you ask yourself, what times 2 is 10? The answer, of course, is 5. Now to go to the long leg, we have to multiply by root 3. So 5 times root 3, that's an outie and an innie. They don't really communicate, so it's just 5 root 3 is your final answer. So all the length of the sides here, that's 10. This is 5. This is 5 root 3. And now you have found every single segment length using today's principles.